Dr. Rod.
Hi, Ali.
We talked about pain, chronic pain, and healing. Tell us more, please, about the mind body temple concept and your method.
Yeah, the mind body concept is an interesting concept that I really like because I think all the healing happens inside our existence, and physicians and the whole healthcare system is out there to guide us. And then from the personal aspect of our life, the only thing that we really own is our mind and our body. Everything else are manufactured contracts. So if there's only one thing that's really sacred in our life before anything else that we like and love and adore, it's your mind and your body, because that's where your life happens. So this concept gives you some level of ownership of your responsibility related to your mind and your body, and how important, how sacred that is, and how can you change it, how can you keep it clean, and how can you keep it healthy, how can you push your life forward and elevate your level of life.
And I believe your pain or chronic pain comes from mind and body as well,
Yeah, everything of your whole life
your
happens
whole
in
life.
your mind and your body. That's your experience. Life experience happens through this. And the concept of mind body gives you some level of ownership, some level of recognition of where your life sphere is, and then how to take ownership of making the changes.
So, if this is the foundation of your method, can you explain more about the components of this foundation and how this foundation is built?
Now, the foundation is actually an interesting concept, because I look at this when we call about this whole concept of a temple as if you're building your own mind body temple again, because that's where your life happens. Any structure stands on a foundation. That's where the idea of foundation comes to play. Like you can have the best design of any building, but if the foundation is not solid, the building will crumble. Um, I realize over years, decades of working in this field, that there are primary steps that one has to take in order to make the treatments successful and effective. It starts from the point of realizing why you do things. Why do you want to get better? Why do you live in order to feel fulfilled and happy and successful? There are reasons why you do things that you do in life, including the idea of wanting to get better. The pain is very, sharp sensation that we have. It keeps us awake during the night. Of course, you want to get rid of the pain, but it goes deeper than that. There is a foundation of reason that why you do things in life. Why are you attracted toward things that you're attracted to? And then once it becomes clear to you, once you have clarity about that, then you can focus your energy. It's all about your reserve energy of healing, the reserve life energy, and how you use that energy. If it's being consumed by being distracted in different ways in your life, you cannot focus on your healing. And that's the foundation. One of the levels of foundation of this whole temple.
So, I understand mind body being sacred is the foundation of life experience, and finding this why is the foundation of that
That
foundation,
temple, yeah,
that
yeah.
temple.
Your whole mind body temple is built upon your reason.
Oh, yeah, mind body is the temple, is the building,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
the foundation is this why.
And imagine how beautiful it is that I tell you that, being something being sacred, what does it mean? It's so dear to you. It's very important to you. You're ready to sacrifice things. You're ready to do difficult things for what you hold dear and you call it sacred. So if the only thing that in your life you own is your mind and your body, and everything else comes from that, your whole life experience of your personal, family, society experience, your role in this whole universe as you recognize it, comes from your mind and body. So then you hold that dear. Then you right away you take ownership, because many times when we go to a doctor, we want the doctor to make us better. But it's a different concept. You take ownership of your existence, of your mind and body. And then once you recognize that this is the most important thing in your life, because through that, you can serve others, you can help others, you can be happy with others. Your connection to the whole universe comes from your life experience as your mind and body. Then that's the start point. Now, with that starting point, you build some solid foundation of clarity about your why. Why is very important. You can, we have had these discussions with our patients all the time that, why do you want to get better? They say, I want to do things that I want to do, but I cannot do now because I have pain. And then we get into multiple whys. Why you want to do them? Why is that important to you? What happens if you don't do them? And why you feel bad when you don't do them? We go layer by layer by layer to get to something that we call the core authentic reasons. And then once you have clarity about that, then you don't waste your life energy. There's a certain level of life reserve of energy. When we are, children, the reserve is full. And as we grow up, some of that reserve is used and some of it is distracted. The one part that is used. That's the way of nature. But you have certain level of energy that is being consumed by being distracted in life. And when you want to heal, healing is an important process for you, then you need all your energy to be focused.
You talk about life energy many times. Where does it come from? Does it come from food, other sources? Can we increase it? If I know that we can maintain it by not wasting it, but can we increase the input?
Yeah, there is this whole new concept of lifestyle medicine that is gaining momentum now. There are a lot of researchers that show in this area of medicine a lot of new evidence, scientific evidence comes that how you eat, how you move, your mobility, how your mindset is, positive thinking and a structured mind, and how you have the wakefulness and sleep cycle arrange during the day, your level of sleep and quality of sleep, how you connect to others, and how you consume things that may harm you or stay away from toxins can affect your base basic level of energy, basic level of health. Your level of energy comes from your health. It's like, imagine a machine. If the machine is being well oiled, is being well maintained, of course it will work better. If it's not well maintained, it will start to have problems. Now, the problems in human life experience comes from the mind and comes from the body. And, all the other aspects of the family life and society life are related to these two aspects of the mind body as well, because that affects your mind and affects your body. And then once your machine is not working well, all sorts of conditions start. And then when we, as physicians, become confused about the goal of the treatment when somebody comes to us with, say, diabetes, which is one of the most common conditions, or chronic pain, which is my area of practice. And in many cases, these chronic conditions are interlinked. Like many of the diabetic patients get neuropathic chronic pain as well, and vice versa. Many of people with chronic pain cannot be mobile, have poor diet, so they develop secondary diabetes and other medical conditions. When we as physicians get confused about the success, the meaning of success in our treatments, and we think that just reduction of the blood sugar level or just reduction of the number of pain from 10 to 8 is a success, then poor outcomes emerge. And that's what we have in our current society level of our medicine. The medical treatment fails, unfortunately, because we don't look at the whole person. We don't look at the whole mind and body and all the ramifications of the effects of the mind and body in personal, family, society life. And then with this confusion, we tend to keep repeating the same treatments and we get poor outcomes. And that's why we get relapses, we get uh, patients coming back years and years, and they're not getting better. While our evidence says that, okay, using this medication or that injection should reduce the pain or should reduce this or that presentation of chronic diseases. It's the whole person concept that we have to look at too.
Yeah. So can we say the foundation for the foundation is to look at the person as a whole person, to
Yeah,
have that holistic perspective.
that's the mindset.
That's the mindset.
That's the mindset. So we need to have a whole person mindset when it comes to medicine. We need to use the what we call today lifestyle medicine approach, the whole person approach. There are different ways that, like in U.S. in Veterans Affairs, they spend a lot of money for soldiers that they come back from battlefield and they are all broken in their body and mind, and they try to fix them by different components of their conditions. The orthopedic surgeon taking care of their fractures, psychologist taking care of their PTSD, but they continue to suffer. Now, for the past few years, they look at the whole person as a whole person approach for treatment, and they're getting better outcomes. Then you have other colleges like American College of Lifestyle Medicine. These are new things that comes back to something that should be common sense, and that's a whole person should be at the center of the care, and then all the care team are there to guide or help the person. But you cannot fix the life experience with just reduction of the pain level by one or two number.
How can we learn to look at the whole person? How can you teach me to look at myself as a whole person?
Well, you have had some pain experiences yourself, and we have had some discussions in the past. And I remember that when we talked about these concepts, that your life experience from childhood till your adulthood, your current level of stress, the way you eat, the way you move, the way of your level of exercise and activity, the way your perspective towards life circumstances, and whether you consume any toxins or not, the way you connect with others or you don't. All of these things affect your life experience, and your pain is a part of your whole life experience. And I remember that these discussions had some tractions for you, and you came back and told me that by changing some of these elements, you have had some improvement. That's the part that I think us as doctors, we don't talk to our patients about a lot. And then that's the part that actually patients are very interested to hear about, because that's about their life experience, not just their symptom. Condition, their ailment is different from their symptom. We, as physicians, focus a lot on symptoms instead of looking at the whole experience or the condition or the ailment.
Yeah, true. Very interesting. And would you say that finding that why, finding that foundation is the glue that binds all these components of the whole person together?
Yeah, like that's how you get the attention of the patient. That's where everything starts. And this is a concept that we tend to spend enough time. We never rush it. And I tell all my patients that it's a building that you want to build. So I know you're excited to design it really nicely, but make sure that you have a solid foundation. So your building, once you design it, once you make a beautiful building of your mind and body, it doesn't crumble every once in a while. As soon as the stress comes, you don't get a relapse. You don't go back to the square one. The way to avoid all that is to find out your why. They say that find your why, learning the how is not difficult, or find your why, the how will come to you.
And can we compare it to the foundation of a house in a sense that when you built it, you have it and it's there, in a solid way. But when you find the why of your healing and your life journey, does it stay there or you need to keep it alive? How do you, what have you seen in your patients and how you help them to keep it clear and clarified?
Yeah, that's an important point because life is an evolving, ever changing process. Its life experience changes and evolves by internal factors and external factors. And that life experience is being renewed every moment, but sometimes we are not aware of. Like you are not the same body of a month ago, and you're not the same mind of a month ago. So things change. Your mind and your body evolves and changes. So you need to have clarity about some important principles that are very important for you. I need to bring it in front of your eyes in order to be invigorated in your life energy. For example, we talk about concepts and we talk about the methods. So both of these things are important. So we lack the whole person concept in our daily medicine, and it's getting better. Like, many associations and medical programs are paying attention to the whole person concept of the care, or they call it patient-centered care. And it's interesting that after, you know, all this time, we have to find out that, okay, we have to focus on the patient
Patient.
finally. So we call it patient center. But it's good. We have to welcome any improvement in this whole
Of course,
person
yeah.
concept. So that's the concept. Once we realize that these concepts are important, the mind body concept is important, then it comes the how. Okay, how do we do it? Okay, although we talk about the why, but how do you find your why? Methodology is very important, and because we haven't paid attention to this modality, this way of thinking, and this concept of care, we don't know a lot about the con, um, how to find your why is very important. And it's as if I tell, okay, you have blood pressure, go and fix your blood pressure. If I don't tell you how to do that, then that is difficult for you. So finding your why, that's the essence of it. That's the foundation. Why is it important? Because if you know why you do things that you do in your life, if you realize, if you become clear about why things were interesting to you through your journey of life, why were you attracted to certain things, and why you never became attracted or interested in so many other things, it becomes clearer to you who you are about. Like, I like a saying from Alan Watts that says, every person has to do a mental practice at least once in their lives. They have to think as if they are the most selfish person in the life, in the whole world. And if you're very selfish, then think about the things that you like, and then at the core of feeling really selfish, you realize that you really love yourself. You really like yourself. You actually allow yourself to love yourself. We'll have discussions about this, or allowing yourself to liking and loving yourself. That's a whole second level of discussion that we have to have. But imagine you are selfish, and through that, imagine that you like yourself, and imagine you love yourself. And then once you really feel that you love yourself and you're selfish and you want things for yourself, then ask yourself, what is it that you want for this person that you really love? Like, if you really love yourself, what is it that you want to do for this love?
This is at the core of your method for finding why,
It's one of the practices.
one
Like,
of the
like
practices.
what Alan Watts is trying to say here is a method. So we are talking about method now. What is it that you want to offer this person, you that you really love? That becomes a method. You think, you search through your mind and find things that if you were going to offer this self that you really love, what would be the offering? What would be the direction to go? What would you do to satisfy that self? Now, of course, we can't always think about ourselves, but the problem is that liking yourself is not being selfish, but it's allowing yourself to pay attention to things that are important to you. Another method, another practice that I use is that I ask my patients to, put a piece of paper in front of you. I know nobody writes things these days. We all type. But, whether you type or you write, but there's some sort of a magic happens that when you bring ideas out of your mind and you write or type them, write down 10 or 20 things that are very important for you in your life. Now, these can be things that either you have, you don't want to lose them. For people who have, you know, family, usually family is one of the important points. So, my wife, my child, my parents, my, brother, sister, close circle of your family is usually, sometimes it's not, sometimes it is, most of the time it is, among the valid whys of life. But then you have to come up with 9 more. So sift through your mind, do soul searching. This is the most important soul searching of your mind. Your whole life evolves around it, have been evolving around it without you knowing. You are doing things without paying attention to. Now you want to find clarity about why you did things that you did, and why you do things that you do, why you like things that you like, why you never became interested to things that you were not interested in. Then write them down. Write down things that are either important to you to achieve or have or own or experience before you depart from this life experience, or things that you have and you cannot afford losing them, or you want more of them, things that are important. And it can be anything. I don't ask them to come back and read through the list for me, but I want them to do this practice for a while. Every single day, write down things that are very important for you, things that either have, you don't want to lose them, or either cannot leave this world without having them. And then make a hierarchy of them from the most important to the least important. It turns out that if it's a list of 10, they're all important, but some of them are more critical to you. Then try to make a short list of 5 out of these 10 as priorities. What we call the purpose of your life. The purpose of your life is among those 5. It cannot be out of them. Like if you do spend enough time of soul searching to work on this list every day for a while, you spend decades in suffering. What if you spend a month to do this soul searching? This is the most important investment in your life. Find clarity about things that are fundamentally important for you. Find that, and then it becomes clear to you, why you were attracted to things that you were attracted to, why you did things that you did in life. And then you realize that you did a lot of things thinking that those are important to you. You spend time and energy on them, and then you were not satisfied with them and you abandoned them, or you went through them because you couldn't back off from that path, but that became another problem for you because you're wasting life and time of your whole life experience on that path that is taking you with it like a river, but you're not fulfilled. Everybody is looking for happiness, but happiness is a transient state of mood. But fulfillment is what you're seeking. And when you don't find fulfillment, you feel terrible. So there are a lot of reasons why we feel the way we feel. When you move towards your real why in life, you feel fulfilled. Even you may not feel happy, but you feel fulfilled.
And would you say there is a link between not being fulfilled and chronic pain or suffering in any form?
There is a link between your core authentic self and your state of being, including your health. The closer you get to your authentic self, the better you feel, both in the mind aspect of it and the body aspect of it. The farther you get from your authentic self, the worse you feel. And that's the origin of many. Like this encompasses a lot of things. Like eating wrong food is also becoming farther from your authentic self
Authentic
because
self.
you're not designed to eat a lot of things that we eat in this society today. You're not designed to put all of these toxins in your body. At the same time, you're not supposed to put all of these negative thoughts in your mind. You're not supposed to live in isolation and not have proper connection to other people. And you're not designed to be overworked and exhausted and not have restful sleep and a balance of your activity and rest. And all of these elements, when you rethink them and redo them and come back towards a healthy living, then you're working better on your pain management and every other aspect of your life.
Yeah,
That's how your life reserve increases.
yeah, very interesting. And what has been the impact of this method on your patients? What have you seen in them after following this method?
Well, for first, they become really happy that somebody finally is paying attention to it, and it's it makes me happy and makes me sad. Makes me happy because I feel that I'm talking about things to them that nobody has ever talked to them, because our fast-paced medical system doesn't allow time for these things. But these things don't take too much time. Like it takes me about a minute to explain to you that your mind and body is the only thing that you own. And if you keep it organized like a library that is disorganized, it will look better and it will function better. You can find solutions better. And if you feed your body and you move your body better, you'll feel better. And I show you clarity about the purpose of your life and your life energy, and then you can make peace with yourself. And then skills will help you. Here, it took what? A minute or minute and a half.
Yeah.
But if you don't start with this and you think that, okay, come, I teach you all these skills in the world about mindfulness, meditation, diet. If you don't know why you are doing this, then you get distracted towards all other things that are distracting you and you keep wasting your life energy. You don't have the focus and you have this internal conflict of hating things that you hate because you're not being fulfilled, and then you learn to hate yourself through the process. And then how can you get better?
And I believe this applies to all the medical treatments and medicines as well.
Yes, but some, especially the most application is related to chronic condition.
Chronic
Like if you
condition.
have a broken bone, of course you have to go to hospital and set the bone back and have the therapy after that
Of
and
course,
get
yeah.
better with that. For
Yeah.
acute conditions, you need acute treatment. But there is a reason that many of these acute conditions turn into chronic conditions. Like something about 15 to 20% of acute traumas turn into chronic pain. And there are myriad of reasons why it becomes chronic.
And they don't have to.
Many of them
Many
don't
of
have.
them don't.
Many of them don't have to. But we have to pay attention to those fundamental reasons.
And can you please give us some examples from your patients of their journeys?
First of all, I'm guilty of the same system. Like I have to confess that for many years, for many, many years, I've been doing the same symptom therapy as I'm taught to do. And, we pay attention to something we call etiology, meaning the source, the reason why people have the problem. And we think that if we fix that, then the condition is going to be healed. But the healing is different from the treatment. This is something that I learned through becoming a pain patient myself, that there's a difference between healing and the treatment. There's a difference between the care and the healing. Healing is an amazing phenomena that happens inside our existence. Once you bring all that physical, emotional, mental, spiritual, all of that aspect of your life experience and energy of all of them harmonize towards the goal of healing. So for my patients that once I realized this concept and then I learned the methodology and I applied that to myself and I felt better and I decided to share it with my patient. This was my journey. And now the journey of healing that I share with my patients is the journey of coming back instead of going anywhere. Coming back to your towards your authentic self in order to feel better. How do you do that? Through that do all those changes related to your mind and body, the whole build, the rebuild. I tell them that we are going to rebuild your mind and body temple, and you will be the designer, you will be the owner, and you recognize that you now you have this structure that your life experience happens inside. And now we start with your why you are here. I'm here to get better. Why do you want to get better? I want to get better to do things that I like to do. Why do you like to do them? Because I want to enjoy my family. I want to enjoy my being with my children. To really valid, solid reasons. Not that the reasons are wrong. You see, I don't go layer by layer deeper because these reasons are not valid. I want to get deeper into what is the core reasons that are feeding all of these things. A family man, when they say that I want to spend time with my family, it's a very valid reason. But then when you ask them, why do you want to spend that time? They go one layer deeper. They get closer to things that are very important to them, layer by layer. Once they have clarity about those things that are the most fundamental attractions of their life. Then I ask them, how bad do you want that? There's this thing we call motivational interviewing. This is a recognized methodology in our startup of therapy sessions. We try to motivate people in order to have the energy to come to the therapy sessions. So motivational interviewing is all about, okay, if you had a magic wand and you wanted to, move that and have something happen in your life, what would be that? It's similar to this concept of what is important to you. And then they would say, okay, two or two, and you have to be reasonable when you start. You have to have clear goal about the treatments that you're planning to do. So you set goals with your patients. I call them teammate because we work as a team. We are all patients in reality, and we think that I'm very blessed to be sitting where I'm sitting, so I have the position to serve. That's the only difference. But I am a patient. They are patients too. Sometimes we hide. We get better at hiding things, but we all have conditions that we can improve. So my teammates in this process, um, I ask them, how bad do you want that change to happen? So whether it's that list, how bad do you want them? Things that they want to achieve, how bad do you want them? How important? Like English language sometimes is interesting.
Yeah,
Bad,
how bad.
yeah,
Yeah,
that
yeah,
bad is a negative connotation, but when you say I want it really bad, means that
yeah.
I'm really ready to make a lot of effort. I am ready to
Yeah.
sacrifice a lot of things in order to get that. I want it bad. So when you know what you want, and when you become clear about how bad you want it, then you're energized. Then I have your attention.
How bad you want your patients to heal?
Well, that is my purpose of life.
That
Like
is your
I've gone
purpose.
through this whole
Yeah.
exercise.
That's why you're here.
Yeah, yeah. That
So would you say every time you see a patient starts to heal and you see that in them, which I think you're very capable and very observant about it, would you say that you also heal a little bit every time?
absolutely. Like about being capable, I have to, be honest about it. Like there's just one thing that I try to convey to my patients that I'm really here with all my existence, with all my positive intentions to help you. I don't know how capable I am, but that's irrelevant, really. Some magic happens when you are there with all your existence and you are there to help them, and they get that. And
I meant capable to see the healing happening in them.
absolutely,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I'm because I'm observing that, you're right.
Yeah, yeah.
Because you know, I've done this exercise myself. I've gone through what is very important. Of course, family is there. I have an amazing circle of friends that are important to me. I have my whole network. I'm a physician. I realize why being a physician is important to me. When you graduate, you think that, oh, you have a diploma, you're a doctor. That's very important to you. Then you realize that, anybody that was lucky enough to um, have the resources and have the calm environment and facilities to sit down and study can get a degree, can get a diploma, can get a doctorate. So that can't be the goal of the life. Then you realize, okay, being a physician is very exciting. I go to work every day to help people. Then you realize that the component of being at service of people and then observing their healing is really the goal of that position. That makes it sacred. That makes it important. Otherwise, going to work as a physician is have a profession. Like you can have any profession, and all the professions are necessary for society. Like we tend to make them in a hierarchy of important and not important. But people that gather garbage in our city, if they don't come for a week, we'll all die. So which one is more important? They're all important. So professions are important, but not because of having them, because of what you serve. Is a profession is a medium of service. The service is the most important. To me, the highest level of life that you can achieve, if there is one, service is one of them among them. If there are few, service will be on top of them. So um, then, then what is it that is important to me? Is to be this medium, to be uh, this way of transition, this conduit of healing for the patient. So, like talking about this, creating environment for the patient that finally that healing happens in them. like not me injecting it to them or prescribing it to them. Provide an environment of mind and body preparations, the mindset and the setting for them for the healing to happen. That is my calling. That is what I suffer when I don't have enough time at my physician patient encounter time to spend on that. And that's why I'm sitting here with you to talk about these things. That's why I wrote my book, Mind Body Temple, because I want to find ways to convey this message of healing that is possible when you organize your mind and your body and look at it as a temple, as a structure that you're building. And when you look at the foundation of that and you pay attention to the foundation of your mindset in life, you can have improvement in your pain, which is the reason you came to me. But when you depart from this process, your pain will be better, but you have a structured mind and body for the rest of your life. And that is the message.
Yeah, wonderful. Thank you very much, Dr. Rod.
You're welcome. Thank you for the opportunity.